Anyway, ho ho ho, Merry fucking Christmas, everybody. Yes, it's me, Artist Poet, on PlayStation 5 now. I told my wife and I told my son. My son guides my gaming from time to time when I talk about meta and builds and things like that. He kind of, we Yeah, he's a really good gamer, and he and I used to play this game constantly all the time. But for some reason, over the last few months, maybe a year and a half or so, my connection to this game has just been progressively bad. My wife, and all of her interest in wanting to see me enjoy my hobby, because this game is a hobby, um, has went out and bought a PS5, and I'm telling you, man, it's like even before the PS5, this has just been getting ridiculous. About a few. I'm not going to buy the Witch Queen. I don't think I'm going to buy any more Destiny 2 expansions. I'm going to be purely free to play, just experience the game as it turns and evolves through its final stages. Because I'm going to be a completist, which is, in my opinion, a little bit silly. I've never been that way with anything else. I mean, I didn't continue smoking cigarettes until I got lung cancer, which is the ultimate goal of anybody who smokes cigarettes, whether you believe it or not. I stopped smoking cigarettes, because I realized this was unhealthy for myself and my brand new family that I was starting with my wife. And so I was like, I'm done with cigarettes. I don't drink. I have a gigantic bottle of rum sitting right here in plain view of me that my beautiful eldest daughter bought for me a couple of Christmases ago. It has not been opened and don't think it'll ever be. If I drink it all, we go out and we buy a bottle of sake. It's a small bottle of sake, and it takes me about a week to go through it. So yeah, again, I'm not a completist, but with Destiny, because I started this scenario, and I used to really be a Bungie fan. I really was. Oni was my first Bungie game, um, and then I played all of the Halo stuff up to the time they finally left Microsoft, which was, I think, Halo Reach is their last Bungie game. And I had a great time playing this game, and it was lots of fun. And I wasn't just buying digital releases; I was buying physical collector's copies. I'm not gonna. It's a total flex. I'm gonna be honest. It's a total flex, but I've got more than a few pounds worth of physical copies and elements sitting in my closet bin that is just nothing but Destiny. I'm not. I mean, I'm talking like even the $200 catch or thresher model that Mega Blocks, Megacon, so tiny little minifigs. I mean, I'm still a fan of the whole Last City and this post Golden Age environment that we exist in, and what led up to it, and all the story around the war mines and the Nine, and the different alien factions that have been harassing humanity. And it's sad because there's such a richness to this environment, and it's so immersive, and the gameplay is so clean. I mean, there's lots of I've played a few first person shooters, um, and the controls have always felt a little bit kind of clunky for me. The handling of the weapons, the scoping, and everything else, managing inventories, managing ammo, doing modifications and customizations, min maxing your gear, so to speak. It's always felt very heavy, and I'm not a crunchy player, which is the tabletop RPG term that we use. That's so sad too, because back in my day, they were RPGs, and when you said I'm playing an RPG, that meant at the table with some other human beings, or by yourself with a random generator table, rolling dice, pushing pencils, and shuffling papers, moving miniatures on the board if necessary for combats. Um, and then RPG, video game RPG, or MMO RPG became a thing because that identified the massive multiplayer online role playing games that came out with World of Warcraft. And now we have to say TTRPG, tabletop RPG, because we have so many video game RPGs. So is that VGRPG? I don't know. I segued. Sorry, I digress. Any case, God, here we go. Crossplay. Taking that shit off. I'm not playing crossplay. Let's see if this helps. So for the last this is my 12th attempt now to get to the tower to collect that clan reward over there. Um, just to tell you how deep, over complicated with their mechanics, and there's way too much going on. Like I said, I'm not a crunchy player. Um, I did play into them. I did play them. I played through them for the exotics. I played through them because my friends asked me to come in and help them out because if there's one thing that at the time I was Hakobot, if there was one thing that Hako, knew how to do was not die. It took a lot to kill my character in Destiny 1, and it took quite a bit to kill my character in Destiny 2 for a while. Um, and I was maining a hunter even at that time, both in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. I did main a Titan for the first two-thirds of the game. Yes, it worked. Okay, let's see if we can actually get to Hawthorne before we get weaseled, babooned, or anteatered. Um, I think crossplay is the problem with Destiny 2. There's the nutshell. There's the thesis title of the video and everything else. And and I think it's sad because I mean it would be nice to play with a wide variety of player bases because it's always been kind of inferred a little bit that Xbox players and PlayStation players and console players and cloud players all play a little bit differently, and it's all based on their communities. Yeah, that took off crossplay and everything is fine. Yay, all that for just this. That's so freaking ridiculous. But I'm not buying any more Destiny. Um, maybe, after the final shape expansion, and not until they have dedicated servers for PvP, including Gambit, not until they have, um, some things like, yeah, because I don't hate this attitude is like, what does it matter? You're going to pay for it anyway, which is something that was actually said to me by by a representative of a franchise of a company that my family have been fans of since we were little kids. There's a large hint, hint, nudge, nudge there, and it just kind of took me aback. And I mean, he said it kind of like that ironic, sarcastic, humorous kind of way, but I'm like, I really think that's the culture you guys come from. It doesn't matter what's going to be done about it or how much it's going to cost or what kind of service you're really going to get in the end. You're going to pay for it anyway. And no, no, you don't have to. And I really do encourage people, you know, go ahead and play the game and have fun with the game. Don't throw money at something that's not providing service. And video games are no longer a product industry. They're a service industry because so much of this is based upon, what quality of service you can get from their servers. Just like, I mean, you're not going to stay with an ISP if they're constantly failing you, if they're constantly dumping on you, and they won't update their infrastructure, they won't maintain their infrastructure. You're not going to stay with them, or even a mobile carrier. You're going to change services when you can. You don't go to the same restaurant if they keep serving you cold, slimy scrambled eggs and you keep asking for over medium. You're not going to do that. Yeah, someone can go full Karen if they wanted to, but that's not going to change the fact that these people just don't give a shit. And when a service provider starts to feel like they don't give a shit, then that's kind of when I stop paying for shit. And so yeah, this is me drawing a line in the sand. Unless there is some like marked changes that are guaranteed in paper, we have to click the I agree button to confirm. No, I'm staying free to play, and we'll see what Bungie comes up with next. There's supposed to be some new, game they're coming out with, and I don't know. I mean, this might actually be the end of me playing online games, except for Elder Scrolls Online, because it is a true MMORPG. They have dedicated mega servers. I don't get kicked to titles in that game, except for like extreme, extreme post-Christmas congestion because of the Christmas noobs. Even Conan Exiles, which is PvP with, you got all kinds of shit going off. I mean, in Destiny, you've got NPCs, you've got, special abilities, you've got ammo management. Look at that. Look at that lag that they've, that's just walking through the tower and it's lag. Um, Destiny's got all this environmental crap. Don't need it. Glowing lanterns floating up in the sky like I'm in a Tangled movie. That's pretty. Sparkling Christmas trees, Ava Levante's and her varied dialogue, all 12 lines of it. Um, and they can't manage a fucking stable connection because they're relying on peer-to-peer connections. Change that. Change that. Get rid of that. Grow up. Seriously, stop calling yourself an MMO if you are still running around on peer-to-peer connections like some scrub yard fucking, Baron who's trying to get together a LAN party with Doom. I mean, no, seriously. But that's about it. Thanks for stopping by.